I think it's important to set up the tactic before each point. As we do on a professional level, the server and the guy at the net, told each other, I'm going to serve, for example, to the guy's forehand, then you might poach, or let's say I'm going to come into the net and we'll finish the point there. I think on a club level, they just kind of played how it is. No one really says to anyone, let's have this tactic straight because I think the guy has a weaker backhand, so let's serve there, and then we'll start from that.
You must get into a consistent habit of communicating between points, especially when times get tough and everything seems to be going wrong. In the span of 5 to 10 seconds, your team should discuss these factors: the placement of the serve, the position and action of the net partner, and the movement of the server after the serve. When your team is returning serve, you discuss these factors: the intended target of the return, the position of the net partner, and anything that might help you better anticipate the net point. Both players need to make a concerted effort to keep the lines of communication open and your discussions focused on the match.
Martin, I'm going to serve down the tee. You give a nice fake. I'm going to serve and volley.
All right.
If you go to a horse race, the horses come out of the block. Each one of them are trying to jockey. What do I do here? They're trying to fake out the other jockey. This is the same philosophy that's used for doubles. You have to be excited. You have to look forward to faking out the opponent. And you have to come out there with enthusiasm and say to yourself, hey, I don't care what position I play this morning, I'm going to make it work. And that's what competitive doubles is all about.
For doubles, it's important to hit as many first serves in as possible. Not saying that you have to really just push your serve in, but let's say hit 3/4 of a pace serve, and then, try to build on that. Do not give the guys too many second serve, because then, they can step up with the return and hit a good shot from that, and then it's really difficult to get in and play the good volley from there.
In placing your serve, serving to the tee allows your net partner to become a poaching threat by positioning closer to the center net strap and putting pressure on the cross-court returns. Serving wide forces your net partner away from aggressive poaching position to guard the alley, which is now vulnerable to a down-the-line return. Consider these factors as your team decides serve placements.
The serve, 2 key words: placement and position. Along with placement goes communication with your partner. Position, where will you be to make your first volley? And if you're not a serve and volleyer, where will your position be for the return ball that's coming back to you? That's it, server. That's all you have to be concerned with.
The partner serving the person at the net's almost in the alley, sort of like I'll get out of my server's way, and their whole job is to cover the whole court, and the return is theirs.
He might be the guy who can poach, who can distract the opponents, have a good volley, have a good overhead, and make it easier for the server to win the game. Because on the other hand, if you have someone who can't volley, wouldn't make a move, would just look at you how you serve, then your opponents, they always know this guy's never gonna do anything, so let's just hit the balls certain way and nothing is gonna happen. No one is gonna help the guy who's serving. And that's a big mental advantage for the opponents.
To become a dominant force at net, timing is everything. There are 2 basic options when playing this position. To effectively poach, you must position to be within a step or 2 in a reach from picking off the cross-court return. You must time your movement to begin the moment the returner commits themselves to their stroke. When you fake a poach, the initial positioning is the same, but you intentionally make your move early, before they begin their swing, giving them just a split second to change their mind. Often the returner takes the bait, thinks you're poaching, goes for the alley, and you're standing there waiting on it. That's an example of a good fake.
The service partner, Two key words, position and action. Your position is determined by your partner's serve and how well the receiver can return the ball. Action, what do I mean by action? Action means movement, excitement, creating, gambling, going for balls that you never thought you can get. And you know what I want you to do the next time you go for that impossible ball and you miss it? You turn around and you tell your partner, hey, I'll get it next time. Remember, two key words, position and action.
I think it's good to set up a target for a return guy. That way you avoid yourself, having your mind set up on 5 different things. Because obviously if you have your mind set up on a lob, on a return down line, on a return cross court, then at the last second, if you have to make a decision, it might be ending up as a wrong decision to make. So if you go on a return already with your mind set up, okay, this time I'm gonna hit my return cross court. So you're already preparing the whole shot going cross court, and I think you have a more chance to make the shot being a really good shot.
Let's look at how a returning team can use their positioning to apply pressure to the server. In this situation, the return team positions very aggressively for the first serve, trying to encourage a server to overhit. For the second serve, both players crowd the service box even more and move in very tight. Feeling the pressure, the server puts up a weak second serve, allowing the returners to penetrate and take over the net. Learning to use your positioning to influence the serve will be the key to breaking serve more often.
The returner, two key words, position and placement. Let's talk about position. The rule book says you go 2 feet here and 2 feet there and you make that position, and that's where you return serve. Let's throw that book out the window. Position is determined by your ability to return the ball and the level of ability of the server. That's what makes position change all the time. Number 2, placement. Pick out a place that you want to return that ball to, and normally in doubles it's cross court over the lowest part of the net and get the ball back in play. Once you start getting that ball back to the same place all the time, you then can change that radio station to different channels. You know why? You are confident, so that means your placement can change also.
So when your partner is returning and you are the net player, I think it's important to make up your mind whether he's hitting a good return or whether the return isn't good enough to do anything. If your partner can hit a decent return at the guy's feet, or you can see they are a little bit, in troubles reaching the ball, there is a time that you should do something. Definitely either you just fake the move, or if you move all the way cross court, hit the volley.
The returner's partner. What are the two key words? Position and react. What determines my position? I'll tell you what determines my position. Can you return the ball?
Returning well.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm moving in closer to the net. If my partner can return that ball, I'm going to put my face right on top of that net. I'm going to put pressure on that server. And you know what? That server makes one false move and I'm going to crucify them. You having trouble?
Having a little trouble.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. My position is going to be right here in the vicinity of the service line where I started, and then I will move according to the return.
When I have a lot of trouble.
So you're having a lot of trouble. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm reacting. This seat's getting too hot for me. I'm moving right on back to the baseline. And when my partner makes the return, we have a chance because we're parallel with each other. Make an aggressive return, we can move in from here. The returner's partner, two key words, position and react.
The person at the net never needs to turn around and look. I think a lot of times in club play, it's almost like two people playing singles, and they'll turn around and they'll kind of watch, and so that makes the person at the net much less effective. They're just sort of reacting as opposed to being proactive. And you know, doubles is all about pouncing and being the person at the net. Got to be very proactive and look for balls. And
When playing the net position, turning your head to watch your partner hit puts you in a very vulnerable position. As your eyes follow the ball from your partner's racket and the ball reaches the opposing net player, suddenly you realize they're poaching and you've become the target. Make it a habit as the ball passes by you at net to shift your focus to the opposing net player. You'll know exactly where your partner hit the ball and how well they've hit the shot by watching the eyes and the reaction of your opponent at net. More importantly, you'll better anticipate the action and have time to react as you study the movement of the opposing team.
in club tennis, the more popular shots is the lob, and so everyone's a bit fearful to play the net, which is where you need to be when you play doubles.
You have to improve your shots. I would say those skill shots, which are like a lob, angles, chip and charge, return, because these shots you usually, if you play just, from the baseline, you don't use these shots. But if you want to be a successful doubles player, you have to work on those shots.
If you establish that you're going to play down the middle and you're going to let your opponents know that that's where they need to protect, then the down the line and the lob becomes much more effective.